Brilliant. So welcome everyone to our first member-led session of the day. We're going to have 5 of those, and we are really happy to kick off the session now with our friend Amar from Mongolia. So he's going to be talking to us about how they have supported young Mongolian businesses during the COVID pandemic. And Amar is a program officer at Youth Business Mongolia. He's responsible basically for designing, building, and implementing the YBM's initiatives to support young entrepreneurs in the country. And on top of working in Mongolia, he already had experience in other countries like Philippines, Kenya, and Tanzania. So it brings a real diverse perspective as well. So this session, as well as all the other member-led sessions, are structured to be a 10 to 15 minutes presentation and then a 10 minutes Q&A at the end. Today we're gonna have a graphic facilitator in the session. So if you fancy, you can find her in the video because you can see her working live and creating a nice graphic representation of the things we are all gonna learn in this session. So I'm gonna hand over to Amar now, who is gonna deliver the presentation, and then I will be back at the end to facilitate the Q&A. Okay, so over to you, Amar.
Thank you so much for that nice introduction, Carol. Thank you. So I would like to say greetings to everyone who is participating in the Global Youth Entrepreneurship Festival 2020. My name is Amar. I am a program officer at the Youth Business Mongolia. So we are the organization that support, that's the member of the YBI, the Youth Business International Network. The title of my session is supporting Mongolian young businesses during COVID-19. And this will be consisted of like 6 sessions, 6 parts, 6 different parts. So first I'm going to talk about the crisis-related challenges that the organization and the beneficiaries are facing. I hope you guys can see my PPT slides right now. And then secondly, I will talk about the solutions that are identified and implemented, also the results achieved, lessons learned, recommendations, and last but not least, the looks into the future.
Amar, just a heads up that we don't see the presentation at the moment.
Okay. I shared my screen, PowerPoint slides, share. Can we see now?
Brilliant, yes, thanks.
Okay, so these are the orders of my presentation. So first, the crisis-related challenges that the organization and the beneficiaries facing. The growing COVID-19 pandemic has rapidly spread across the globe, affecting many countries in a very short period. This is having a disastrous effect on human health as well as on the society and the economy in general. Mongolia has also been affected by this pandemic since January 2020, has been under a strict containment measures ever since. These measures seem to have prevented the virus from spreading in the country, but the global scale and the rate of infection of the virus still poses a significant threat to Mongolia's economy and society in general. Mongolian young businesses are affected by the virus significantly. As an organization, we are facing challenges related with the adaptation to digitalization. The STI, the science, technology, and innovation, are recognized as major contributors to economic and social development by leading authorities and developed economies. The greatest growth in Asian economies has been experienced by those countries aligning STI with their social and economic priorities over the long term, integrating them into overall policy decision-making. Regrettably, Mongolia has not followed this practice. As a result, its economic growth has lagged behind leaders in the nation, leaders in the region. With the advent of COVID, it presented a challenge to adapt to digitalization and offer trainings online. The government enforced a regulation of countrywide lockdown since January 2020. There was a local travel ban for 21 days in March of 2020. These all posed significant challenges to organize trainings in the rural areas. Our organization branches in nine different locations throughout Mongolia. So we were unable to go in person to offer trainings to young entrepreneurs. This was a very big challenge in the country. In terms of challenges related with the beneficiaries, lack of technical and digital knowledge has ultimately caused the young businesses to digitally transform. Digital transformation is the process of using the digital technologies to create new processes, culture, and customer experience, or modify existing ones to meet changing business and market requirements. The reimagining of business in the digital age is called digital transformation. Most businesses experienced downward trend in the profit since the customers are unable to visit the brick and mortar stores of the Mongolian young businesses. This has caused some of the Mongolian young businesses to go bankrupt, and thanks to some of the government measures and the help of some of international organizations, the donor organizations, some businesses were able to survive with the help of measures such as tax exemption for a certain period, and also with some helpings from the donor organizations. Also, there are lots of challenges related with the forming strategies in response to COVID. It was not the challenge that Mongolian young businesses drafting strategy that is coordinated with the COVID situation. Secondly, we're going to talk about the solutions we have identified and implemented. In order to overcome these challenges I just mentioned above, we have developed some coping mechanisms, delivering training packages to rural areas. So we can see this training package I have included in this presentation slide. This is the training package that we have. This consists of a flash drive, and there's a pen. We have a notebook, note-taking notebooks, and then guidebooks, various different brochures, and also handbooks for the young businesses, young entrepreneurs to have to strategize, have to develop skills to better apply for loans, and etc. So these packages are delivered to the locations of the young businesses into 9 different locations throughout Mongolia. Our organization have branches in the Mongolian different regions, the administrative units called AMAX. So also the picture on the bottom, we can see like where we have our organization branches. We have branches in Tornat, Tornvab, Tarkhan, Siling, Hop, Zavkhan, Orkhon, Bayhongor, and Ulaanbaatar. We deliver these study packages to each locations of the trainings to create an atmosphere for the training participants as if the training is happening in in-person classroom. So another solution that we have identified and started to implement is that our training methodology is changed in order to increase the participants' engagement and comprehension levels. The Zoom trainings have some advantages such as sharing texts and asking participants' opinions in the chat box, also to share pictures if they want to, And we also have the breakout groups function where participants can work in groups and do group works effectively without losing any time. And also we started to offer our trainings for free of charge, with the help of donor organizations such as the Ministry of Labor and the USAID, the United States Agency for International Development. We have started offering our trainings for the participants for free in the rural areas. This has been a huge help for the young businesses. Also, this engagement of the social media is dramatically increased. Next, the next part of my session is results achieved. The culture of offering digital trainings have significantly improved. So this is the first result, that most important result we thought. And comparing to the last year, the 18 to 35-year-old, the training participants, the young entrepreneurs, the number of them have increased dramatically from 800 to 1,000 in duplicated numbers. We have incubated around 40 training facilitators throughout the country in the 9 locations of the organization. As a result of the measures we have taken, the mentor meetings and workshops are held online instead of in person. These are the results that save us a significant amount of precious resources, such as time and transportation-related resources. The mentor meetings and workshops, all of them are held online, and we are seeing this as a huge step towards the digital transformation, digital acceleration. These are the subjects of we have been talking about in this forum in the previous sessions, as well as in the future, I think. There are lots of lessons we have learned. So this COVID pandemic taught us to be ready for anything, and uncertainty is like a part of our lives. Uncertainty, volatile and complex and ambiguous. These are the things, these are the characteristics of our world. So what we have learned is that we need to be prepared for anything uncertain, such as COVID, or like these kind of things can affect our lives and the young entrepreneurs businesses dramatically. So we need to be prepared for that, and adaptability and flexibility is very important. We need to learn how to adapt to a new situation, to cope with the new circumstances. These are the lessons we have learned. Recommendations for other YBI members is that the businesses need to be prepared for emergency savings, or like a emergency fund is necessary. Financial sustainability is a top priority. We just need to keep the business, keep rolling, keep going, and that's how we save the business. The donor engagement is important. Engaging proper donors is very important for saving the businesses in a situation that is uncertain. Also, the policies and procedures and standards, the implementation of those things is very important, such as ISO 9001-2015, the Management Quality Standard, or MNS, is a Mongolian standard. And these standards are the ones that our organizations implement. And these are very important for ensuring the quality of our services. So what's going to happen next? As we have seen in the previous sessions, the COVID situation is likely to last a little bit longer. We are assuming that this is going to last for like 1 to 2 more years. So we need to learn how to adapt to digital transformation. Our organization have developed this mobile phone application called BizGuide, and this is a mobile phone application that is for also delivering similar services to the young entrepreneurs of Mongolia, such as coaching them and giving them the services of mentoring. The AI-based trainings is on the huge trend, and we are looking into opportunities to develop AI-based trainings and also augmented reality-based trainings. The Malching is a word for herders in Mongolia. We also have developed, we are looking to opportunities to perfect this application called Herders, and this is giving appropriate tips or like necessary tips and advices to the Mongolian young herders, and they're definitely belong to this category of business people. And last but not least, then we have this picture of a young woman called Bora Muksuren. She is a YBI Youth Global Youth Entrepreneurship Summit 2019 award winner. And we are hoping that these kind of people are going to emerge, a lot more these kind of people emerge from Mongolia and also other developing countries in the future. She was a herder, but now with the help of the YBM networking, the YBM mentoring services and other coaching services, she was able to create a very successful sewing business, and she was able to transform herself from a herder to a job creator. So this is where I end my presentation, and thank you guys so much for listening, and I'm willing to listen to your questions. And thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks a lot, Amar. That was super interesting. We now have about 5-6 minutes for questions. So if you have any questions you want to ask Amar, please type them in the chat, and I will be reading them to Amar. Just in the meantime, while people type their questions on the chat, I actually have one myself, because I'm quite fascinated by the kits that you sent to your entrepreneurs. I wish I could have one of those. It looks really nice and sleek. I was just going to ask, how did you distribute those kits? Was it through facilitators in the area? Was it sent by mail? And also, how did the entrepreneurs who received the kit were using them in those rural areas? Especially because I think this, it has been a challenge for many members on how to support people in rural areas who don't have access to, smartphones and even internet sometimes. So yeah, if you can share a little bit of your experience with that, that would be great.
So yeah, like I said in the beginning of my presentation before, the government, we had this local travel ban in the country for 21 days, 3 weeks in March. So during this time, people were not able to leave any administrative units to another unit. So these times were like wasn't even like no parcel living from one region to another. So at that time you could not deliver these packages to the rural areas. But as soon as that ban lifted, we were able to send these packages to the local areas through parcel services, the mailing services, and because these were just started working back again. And rural areas, we have our branches. These branches have internet accesses, so people gathered to these our offices, and then they strictly follow the quarantine measures like sanitizing, and we distribute masks, and then social distancing, 6 feet from apart from one another, and before they enter the training rooms, and we check the temperatures, and we basically go through all the necessary protocols. And that's how it happens. Yeah.
Cool. And then they were using the materials in those branches.
Yeah, they definitely use these materials in the branches, and because the backpacks and the flash drives, pens, and most importantly, there are like various introductory guidebooks and handbooks in the package. So these our training participants, they find it very useful and informative.
Brilliant. We have another question on the chat from Andrew Smart, who's asking if you saw any new opportunities emerging in Mongolia in response to COVID, as well as risks and disruption.
Risks and disruption. That's a very good question. Opportunities and the risks. With any change, they say like we get more opportunities and also risks, right? So with definitely COVID, we were able to get lots of risks and threats and then fears and worries, right? But also a lot of opportunities business people should think, right? And this is a very good opportunity for people to move to a digital transformation. Like I said before, like delivering trainings, like selling trainings online. Like I have seen a lot of people like selling yoga trainings through through the cameras or through this laptop, through the internet. And this was not like a very big trend in Mongolia, I thought. And this is definitely happening. Not only this, and lots of English trainings, or like lots of services, the paid services, paid like talking services, consultancy services are being offered online, and people just get paid through the mobile banks, and the people do not need to see one another in order to engage into these kind of business activities. So I'm seeing this as a very big development in terms of opportunity. So because without the advent of COVID, these things would not have been possible, right? People do not like the new, they say. People do not like to shift to the new things. And with this virus, and this is not good for everybody, but sadly, it is like changing our worlds dramatically, right? And one of these changes is definitely like moving the transformation, the shift, pivoting to the digitalization, I would say. Yeah, thank you. I hope this answers your question.
Brilliant. I think it did. Andrew, let us know in the chat. Just checking, final check if we have any further questions on the chat. Yeah, so we have Aruna saying that she completely agree with it. Great answer, so well done. So I don't see any more questions on the chat, so feel free to send questions later on. We can always pass them to Amar and share the response with you later on. First of all, I would like to thank you, Amar, for putting together this great presentation.
Thank you for having me.
Look really slick, and I think you guys have done great things to manage the pandemic in Mongolia. And also thank to all participants who have joined us. Just a heads up of what's coming up in the agenda. We still have 4 member-led sessions, so 2 happening now in 5 minutes roughly, and then in half an hour we have other 2 sessions taking place as well. The next 2 sessions we have that you can choose from is one session about updating business records with MyDuka, which is an application developed by our member in Kenya called Somo Africa. And the other one is about creating a 180-degree change to adapt to digital life as an NGO with our member in Turkey, Habitat. So if you haven't registered yet, Lucy just posted on the chat the link, so feel free to register. If you have already registered, you should have either the calendar invite or the link to join that session in your inbox. And then later today we have the Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, so really hope to see you all there as well to cheer up and yeah, and see the fantastic entrepreneurs that are our finalists, and finally find out who the winner is. So that's taking place at 3:35 p.m. So please join us for that as well. So yeah, thank you very, very much for joining. Hopefully you're taking good things out of this session, and I'm looking forward to see you in the next few sessions of the day. Bye, thanks.